Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Haven't been uploading in a while because I've been quite busy with my agency currently, and that is the main priority. I also have started up another business with a couple other co-founders, and I've been pretty busy with that as it's just a startup in it as well as my agency at the moment. But yeah, I thought I'd come on here today and do a video on basically what I learned from signing my first client for my agency, because I thought it might be useful for you guys or anyone who's sort of starting out, because at the moment there's a lot of people starting an agency and they again have zero experience, and it's the same as me what I had when I signed my first client. I had zero experience in actually delivering the service, let alone actually managing a client, and all these bits and pieces that you do learn when you sign it. So this may or may not help you, but I hope it does, and I hope it brings some value to you in general as in business, because that's what I want to start providing on here. I just want to start providing some value from my own experience, and I'm not going to talk on anything that isn't from my own experience, because that would be useless, because I haven't actually experienced it yet. So why would I teach you something, or at least speak on something that I haven't actually done? I also have bought myself a new microphone, not just for YouTube, but just in general, as I think it's useful for sales calls and lots of different things. So yeah, I'm gonna jump straight into it now. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing I wanted to touch on, and this is something that you probably have been told before, but I could not stress you actually doing it enough, and it really helped me build a better client relationship with my first client, and them have a little bit more trust in me. So this is like managing expectations. And what do I mean by managing expectations? It's all to do with what you set the expectation of the results you're going to get to your actual clients. So if you came in and, for example, to your client and said, oh, I'm going to get you, or you guaranteed them 20 quotes within the first month, bearing in mind that the first month is going to be testing for all your ads, and you've told them that that's what they're expecting as a client. Now that's what the expectation they have from you. Right, I'm going to get 20 quotes from this guy, and it comes to the end of the month and you haven't provided 20 quotes. You've actually heightened the expectation to the client and under delivered. Now, I was taught from joining a course, Jordan Platton's course, which many of you may know of and may know of the person, Jordan Platton. Great guy, honestly, best course I've ever joined. And I will be making a video on that. But in there and before, in terms of other YouTube videos that I watched, there was always to say you need to under promise and over deliver. And this just means client expectation and managing them correctly. For example, if you know that you've got zero experience in running ads and you don't know what results you're going to get, never ever guarantee anything, because you can't even guarantee to yourself that you'll even get results. So there's no point in guaranteeing someone else just to push them over the line as a client when you know you cannot deliver that. And that's something that I took into account and learnt that lesson as well, because although I did manage the expectations, I did also sort of give an overestimate of the amount of leads that I generated, and I didn't actually generate them, and then in the end they wasn't actually happy. But knowing now that managing client expectations is a massive thing, that's something that I would definitely take on board when you actually sign a client. So the best way to do this is just to say, right, within the first month, there's going to be a lot of testing, and this phase happens with every client that you're probably going to bring on. You're going to have to test. You're not going to get results for a client right from day one unless you have a proven strategy, which takes time, and that means you have to sign a couple more clients before you actually get to that stage. But at the start, you're not going to have an understanding of whether or not you're going to be able to deliver results. So what you've got to do is say to the client, right, for the first month, we're going to be doing a lot of testing. You may or may not see some results come in, but you will not see the results that you will get in after the testing phase, because this testing phase is just to double check and see what is working with your target audience and what is bringing in the most leads. From then on, we can now double down on that and allocate some budget towards that to actually start like generating a lot more results. And honestly, your client will not have a problem with this. You actually being transparent with that will help you in the long run so much, because then you can actually, they will be able to see, right, okay, he's being upfront and honest, he's not promised me loads, they haven't got these high expectations. Then first month goes by, you might get them a lot more results than you actually thought. They're going to be even more happier. Yeah, so that whole fact of under promising and over delivering can really come into play with building a more longer term relationship with your clients, and I would definitely recommend you doing it. This next thing is something that I think a lot of people will do when they start, and they think it probably would be the right thing to do, and it's really not. It's something that stopped me from my business, or put my business back to square one, and it is stopping outreach to fully focus on that one client you've just signed. I could not stress this enough to not do this, because I literally done this for my first client. I got it, and I was so overwhelmed, which you will be. You'll be so overwhelmed if you are anything like me, or you're anything like you have zero experience, and you're gonna get some, like, you're gonna get a little bit scared, like whether or not you're gonna deliver results. So what you're instantly gonna think is that you're gonna have to put all your 100% effort into delivering some results and get a case study. But the thing is with that is, if you put all your effort into that and then you stop your outreach and you stop looking for clients, what happens if you, like, obviously it might not happen, might happen, but the client actually doesn't want to go ahead anymore, or your client doesn't see good results and they straight away leave after the first month. You're going to be back to square one. And also, you're not even going to have anyone else in the pipeline because you're fully focused on your attention on this. And I've done this, and this is exactly what happened. I got my first client. I was overwhelmed. I was like, right, I got to do all these things for the client. I've got to keep them sweet. I've got to make sure that I can deliver these results for them. And I literally got the worst results you probably could get. And this is just something that might happen. And by me putting all my effort into it, I completely forgot to start outreach. So I lost that client, and I was like, right, I'm back to zero now, back to square one. And it's the most annoying thing about it is that you get your first client, you get this happy feeling like, right, now the ball starts rolling. I've got some money coming in. I can now start building the business properly. But then you just get completely wiped out and put back to the start, and now you've got to do that process all over again. And you didn't even get to learn loads from that one client, because you haven't, you literally like mucked up straight away. That's exactly what happened to me. I mucked up straight away, and I didn't learn like pretty much anything from that first client in general. It was only the first couple that I've really started to learn. So yeah, that would be one thing that I would definitely not do is stop outreach, because it will really stunt your business. I mean, if you have a couple others in the pipeline and you lose the client, you've got maybe 4 or 5 more opportunities. That will really help with you having like sort of a back end of potential clients that could come in, as well as you just lost that, so you can work on them now to start building and signing those on. So yeah, definitely don't stop outreach if you've just signed your first client. So this next thing is another thing that is good to do to keep your clients on board for longer, and it may even determine them actually staying on, whether or not you got them good results or not. And it's keeping them in the loop. Now, I'd done this without realizing this is actually like one of the best things you can do. So when I first signed my first client, I was keeping them up to date with a lot of things, and I was always responsive as quick as possible to any of the questions they had, and keeping them updated in terms of doing Loom videos for them on ad updates, what's been going on, what we can do better, what we're looking to do for future testing. And throughout the 3 months that they was actually with me, they, at the end when I was on that last call, they go to me. They didn't actually stay on with me, but they were oohing and ahhing whether to stay on for an extra 3 months and try it all again, because I'd kept them in the loop that whole time with everything that was going on. I let them know why things were going wrong, why things were when things were going well, why they're going well, what testing we was doing, and just keeping them in the loop with everything. And some clients really, really like that. You might get a client that might not like that. That's absolutely fine. That's someone that just wants you to deal with it, and you go ahead and just get on with it. But majority of the clients that I've worked with now, they really like the fact that you do Loom videos and you send them over to them with ad updates and bits and pieces on what you're actually doing for that client, because they feel like they are now understanding what they're getting done for them with these leads, and they can see that you're actually progressing their business with it. If you just completely stopped conversations with them after you've signed that contract and started delivering results for them, whether or not you're delivering good results or bad results, they're not going to have an absolute clue on what you've done for them. If you start off and give an overview at the start of the time that you've signed the client, okay, this first month we've generated a total of this amount of leads, and this is what we've done, this is what we're looking to do in the next month. Cool. Next month comes along. Now, we've implemented all the things that you've said you're going to implement, and then there's some better results that they've seen. They're going to see that journey, and they're going to actually see it visually, which means they're going to really value you a lot more, because you've given your perception to them through showing them where they was and where they now are, through what you've actually done for them, not what they think you've done for them, because they could be like, oh, you just done this, this and this. No, you've showed them exactly what you've done, and they will be a lot more happier with the work that you're producing, because it's more personal and people like that personal touch. So I would definitely recommend you being fully transparent with your client, because sometimes they're more understanding. If there's a lack of communication there, people's perceptions on each other can change without that communication. You must have seen it from just being on text messages. It's how you read text messages. You might read them completely wrong. They might read your text message completely wrong. So jump on calls and all these different things that you can be to be completely transparent and make sure that client is in the loop. Right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful in some way. I mean, this is just all through my experience. Your experience might be a little bit different, or you might have already gone through it, or you might not have. But this is sort of, I know there are similar things in here that you'll probably go through, and I hope this does help in terms of a video. And if you like this type of content where I just actually share my experiences and sort of talk on it, and whether or not it could help you or could not help you, then yeah, drop a comment. If there's any other sort of videos that you'd like to see, I've got a couple that I'm sort of working on at the moment that I want to get out there. But yeah, if there's any sort of other content that you want to see, again, I do mean it by reaching out. If you want to jump on a call, I'm always happy to help with anyone that it does actually need any help with, either Facebook ads setting up or all in the beginning stages of your agency. I'm always happy to help. You can just drop me a message on TikTok and Instagram, which will just pop up on the screen now. But yeah, subscribe if you like this content, and I'll catch you in the next video.